Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Olagunjo Malawake. I'm a senior program associate with the Creative Economy Practice at CC Hub, and I'm based at the Lagos office. You're welcome to the Fashionomics Africa Accelerator online program. Today, we'll be covering understanding who your customer is, leveraging human-centered design, user personas. Kindly note that translations are available in English, French, Portuguese, and Arabic. We request that you look for the round interpretation icon at the bottom of the screen to select your preferred language. Welcome to today's session, and while you wait, please turn on your cameras if you can, and share in the chat what you're looking to get out of the session. Before we start, here are some ground rules. Switch on camera if you can. Use the chat box to ask questions. Raise hand if you want to say something. What we discuss here stays here. Mute your microphone unless you want to speak. Participate actively. Give space for others to participate. Please ensure that your Zoom name matches your registration name. This is for the purpose of taking attendance. Attendance will be taken anytime during the session. So again, we ask you ensure that your Zoom name matches your registration name so that you're not marked absent. Today's session is going to last for 1 hour, 30 minutes, and we're going to be discussing human-centered design from foundational principles, techniques and tools for understanding your customers and potential, practical ways of conducting user research. I'm excited today to present our facilitator to you. Our facilitator today is Oluwaseun David Adepoju. Oluwaseun is a technology thought leader with over a decade of experience in the Africa technology policy and entrepreneurial innovation system, who is at the forefront of shaping the future of tech in Africa through thought leadership. He is a sought-after technology researcher and thought leader with a proven track record of spinning knowledge of innovative technology solutions across Africa. His portfolio includes high knowledge work in blockchain, collaborative technologies, knowledge economics, e-government, digital nomadism, digital literacy, and digital minimalism. Oluwaseun has spoken in several local and international events. Oluwaseun is currently the head of research at Corporation Hub. Without further ado, I would like to present to you Oluwaseun this afternoon. Hi, Oluwaseun. Nice to have you on this call. Such a pleasure to have you facilitate this session.
Thanks, Omolabake. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my greatest pleasure to be with you all. The topic of conversation today is one that is very dear to my heart. And I'm always excited to, whenever I have the opportunity of having this kind of presentation, it's always exciting for me because whatever we build in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, through innovation and a native entrepreneurial acumen, we are building for some people called customers. We are building for some people called users, right? So it's a very important conversation, and it's also very important for us to understand the people we are building for. Every day that we're thinking about new products, we're thinking about new offerings, we must always put the people that will use our products and services at the forefront of our decision making. And that's why this session is very, very important. I will try my best to speak slowly so that we capture every gem of knowledge that we can take away from this session. And I'm going to start with breaking the kola nut. And the question we are using to break the kola nut is to ask if customers are always right. And I would, look forward to you dropping your response to this question in the chat box. Are customers always right? Because this is where our conversation will start from. I want to hear from you all. Are customers always right? I'll be checking the chat box to see your comments. Are customers always right? I can see some comments. Not always, it depends. Somebody said yes. Yeah, I want to see no, they are not. Okay. not in every circumstance. No, but it's essential to hear their opinions, right? Customer is king, all right, sometimes. Keep them coming. I want to hear your opinion. It depends, because you are building or serving customers so they are right according to their needs, okay? Customer is king. No, they are not always right. They are not always right because sometimes they don't know what they want, all right? Not necessarily, you can set terms and conditions of service to set their tone. You shouldn't let them dictate. That's a good one. Not always, some take advantage, all right? Those are very good comments there, thank you. Are customers always right? All right, I can see some comments on, all right, not always, some take advantage. Customers always right, but some of them can destroy your business, all right? Deborah said, yes, at times. All right, these are very good, comments, and thank you for sharing your insights. This question is very important for us to kickstart the conversation because in the general entrepreneurship ecosystem, we've always had people talk about customer is king. We've always had people talk about customers are the bedrock of your business. We've always had people say customers are always right. No, customers are not always right, but they are to be heard always. All right. Those are very good ones. Those are very good ones. And I'm not going to give a right or wrong answer to this question on the board. I think we just want to set the tone for the conversation. And at the end of the session, we'll be able to see whether customers are always right, or they are sometimes right, or they are not right at all, right? But all the responses are good, but we're going to see. I like telling stories, and I'll start by telling you 2 stories. I hope you're ready to hear my stories. It's good to use stories to, talk about things like this so that we can relate well with the central topic that we are discussing. And the first story I'm going to tell us is the story of Nokia. I hope that everybody on the call has used a Nokia phone before. That also tells us the number of Christmases that we have done for people on the call. Nokia used to rule the mobile telephone space from the early 2000s. They were killing it. They were the best. And they were producing phones that elites, middle class, and even the lower class in the society were using. They were very good with it. If you check the records online, Nokia had probably produced more phones, more brands than any other mobile telephone companies that you can think about today. They were producing a new phone every month at some point because they had this big chunk of the market in Asia, in Africa, in the Americas, in Europe. Nokia was killing it. They were the best when they were ruling. But a season came when smartphones started entering the market. And because Nokia was ruling the mobile telephone market, they were so comfortable and they were not thinking about the future. They were not thinking about the evolution of the times. They were not thinking about the changes in the needs of customers. They were not thinking about changes in technology and evolution of technology that is making it easy for innovators to compress a whole computer into a small device that you can put in your pocket. They were not thinking about it because the data was everywhere. Their accounts can show that they are making a lot of money. They were comfortable. They were the ruler of the market. So when the smartphone revolution started, they were very comfortable. They were not looking into it early. And then around that time, they sent a lady called Tricia Wang. She's one of the top technology ethnographers of the world today. They sent her to China, where they had a big market. They sent Tricia to China to study the mobile telephone market in China. And Tricia went to the field. She went to the cities. She went to the rural areas. She went to the towns. She went to all classifications of geographical locations in China to study the perception of people of Nokia product and also their perception of the evolution of smartphones. And then when she got to the field, she discovered that a lot of people were already desiring smartphones. I think by that time, the first Apple phone was already out. The iPhone 1 was out. And she got to places where, in the villages where 1 or 2 persons had the iPhone, they were respected in their communities, and a lot of people wanted that phone as well. And she noticed that trend all across the towns she visited in China. And she went back to Nokia to make a recommendation to them that Nokia has an opportunity to quickly pivot into the smartphone market with the name they already have. If Nokia can actually start making smartphones, it will be easier for them to still continue to lead the market. But the management of Nokia said no, that with the quantitative data that they can see, and you know, business people, all of us on the call, we like using some financial metrics to measure the success that we are currently making, which is not bad in itself, but also it is important to pay attention to something called the tick data. Tick data is the data that you are unable to capture statistically, but when you talk to people and you do market scan of your customers, those things are there, those things are true. And if you don't pay attention to them, statistical data or quantitative data alone might make you fail. So they didn't take Trisha's recommendation. Trisha advised them, let us start pivoting into making smartphones. They said, no, we are leading the markets. Look at the volume that we have even made this month. They didn't listen. And just barely 2 years after then, Nokia started losing the market to the point where there's a popular article online. There's also a popular video online where the CEO of Nokia broke down during an interview crying. And he said, and I quote, he said, we didn't do anything wrong, but we lost the market. We didn't do anything wrong. So this speaks to the fact that you may be doing everything right. You may, be taking lead in the market. You may have 50% of the market in your industry. And in this case, the fashion industry. You may be doing everything right. But if you are not open to understanding the evolution of the times, the personas of the customers that you are building for, the changes that is happening in the society, that is by implication changing the needs of the people making use of the product, you may lose eventually in the market. And that doesn't mean that you have done anything wrong, but you have done everything right, but you have not paid attention to the evolution of the needs of your customers. That's the first story I want to tell you. The second story I want to tell you is also about a phone company called LG. LG also used to lead the mobile telephony ecosystem for a long time. As a matter of fact, till 2015, 2016, LG was making very good phones and they were widely sold all across the world. But in 2015, around 2014, 2015, LG made a phone called LG G5. And with what you can see on the screen, this was the last phone LG made. This was 2015 when smartphones have actually advanced to the point where you can just hold one like this without any other things added to it. We do not know who advised the designers at LG to think that in 2015, people want a phone that has all the other things added to it, a VR, Google, an external camera. You can disconnect the lower part of the phone and the battery from the hollow of the screen. This was 2015 when mobile telephony has advanced. The smartphone market is already advanced, and they want to do this kind of product. And that's why you can see on the screen, LG G5 and Friends. This was the name people give to the phone, LG G5 and Friends, because when you buy the phone, you need to buy these other extra things. At the end of the day, it discourages one from the idea of a smartphone in the first place. If I have to, buy all these extra things with a phone. And after this phone, LG actually lost their grant as a mobile telephone company. And that was the undoing of LG. And they eventually announced that they were closing down a few years after this, right? And they did this because they didn't understand the customers. They were not paying attention to the evolution of the market. They were not paying attention to what is changing, what the future is looking like, and what the current customers usually actually need. And I want you to know that maybe 20 years ago, customers for a particular product can stay consistent and not needing anything extra with your product for 10 years. But now, every 5 seconds, every 10 seconds, with the amount of information that is available online, with the amount of new things coming up, the minds of your customers are changing every seconds of the day. Every 5 seconds, there's a new thought on how something can be made better. There's a new iteration on how a fashion item is better. There's a new research on the new fabrics. There's a new research on new accessories. A lot of things are changing, and we must change with the times as entrepreneurs. We must change with the market as entrepreneurs. If we are going to stay relevant, if we are going to be contributing value that our customers will continue to enjoy, if we are going to hold a chunk of the market and hold it tight and continue to create value for that segment of the market, we must continue to evolve. And I hope these stories actually prepares your mind and has passed a message to you on why it is very important for you to be conscious of the people that you serve. As entrepreneurs, we have the tendency to assume what the customers need. And this is the greatest undoing of many entrepreneurial ventures. A lot of brands, as a matter of fact, data has established that in Africa, most businesses die before their second birthday. And the biggest contributor to that failure is assumption for customers. It is very important when you have an idea, when you have a business that is supposed to serve a people, you must first of all pay attention to the need of the people. And this helps you circle back to make your product better. When you watch all the interviews, virtually all the interviews that Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, has granted, he will continue to say that we are a customer-centric company. And he has said it in almost 1,000 videos of him that you can find online. And what does it mean by that? They are conscious of the customers. In fact, they walk down, they start with the customers and walk back to the product, and not the other way around. A lot of entrepreneurs start with a product and walk to the customers. A lot of entrepreneurs build solutions and then they are looking for the problems. That's not the way, and that's not the flow that is supposed to take. We are supposed to find a problem, understand those we are solving the problem for, and then we walk back to the product. That is the best way for us to continue to create value. And that is the best way for us to continue to understand the changes that is happening to our customers. So I would use a technology perspective to show us some of the innovation that is happening in the fashion industry, for example. The fashion industry has gone beyond just clothing, accessories, cultural embellishment, and all those things. No, technology is actually revolutionizing the way we see the fashion industry now. And it's a big industry, a very beautiful one that is laced with a lot of opportunities. People usually say, and a lot of business coaches would usually tell you that if you don't know any other thing to do, and you really want to be in the business world, and you don't have any other idea, you cannot go wrong with fashion. You cannot go wrong with daily utilities, things that human beings use every day. You cannot go wrong with them. You cannot go wrong with fashion. People will always dress up. People want to look good. People always adorn themselves. And people would always be clothed, right? So you can't go wrong with those areas. And that is why the fashion industry is a very important one. It's big and it has a lot of relevance for the society. And technology has been, applied in this industry a lot. So this framework you can see on the screen is digitization of the fashion industry. I'll start with the prediction of health. I've seen situations where clothing brands actually make clothes that works exactly the way your wearables work. The way your Apple Watch would track your heartbeats and your blood flow and everything. There are a lot of technologies in that area doing that now. That it uses the heat in your body to actually generate some medical vitals, right? And then there are some artificial intelligence systems now that can do dress recommendations for you based on your body type, right? All you need to do is to upload your picture, your current picture that shows your full frame, and then the AI system can predict the kind of dresses and the kind of clothing that fits your body figure. If you are also able to have access to the information or the details of your skin type, AI systems can now tell you the color that befits your body type and your color, your skin color as well, which is really interesting. And these are ways that technology is being applied in the fashion industry. In terms of the logistics value chain of the fashion industry, I actually have a colleague and a friend who is into human hair business in South Africa, and they've been able to use blockchain to do track and trace from the time the human hair is leaving China to Africa, and all the vendors on the value chain, the retailers, the distributors, they can actually see the authenticity of the product and how it's being moved from China to Africa, right? And blockchain is helping us to do that. And it's not impossible that a lot of people have fallen into bad business because they were not able to have information on the authenticity of the product that they are moving. It could be fabrics that you are importing from any part of the world. Blockchain is really helping that retail value chain now to be able to do track and trace of fashion materials. And then circular economy. Blockchain is also helping to be able to in recycling, the recycling information about, maybe you are recycling a clothing material, you're recycling a rubber material, you are recycling all kinds of materials that are being used in the fashion industry towards circular economy. Blockchain is helping to do that. Blockchain is also helping in, cross-border payments for international fashion brands. You don't need to have, a physical shop in Europe for you to sell to Europe. If you have an online shop where you are selling, or you have a logistic value chain for you to move your product from a location to another location, blockchain is also helping a lot of international fashion brands for, the cross-border payments, which means people can pay from any part of the world, and blockchain is helping to do that. In terms of even smart contracts for internet, but for big fashion brands, that work from different locations, especially when your assembly plant is in this country, your fabrics research lab is in this place, your maybe those into accessories, maybe you are importing this from this side, you are designing this from this part of the world. Smart contract is actually helping fashion entrepreneurs to also track and have oversight on all the teams and the locations that works for that business, which is an interesting solution as well. In terms of product development on product experience, I've actually gone to a fashion shop in Central Europe where you can actually select on a screen, you can select, maybe I want to make a shirt, just a shirt like this, but I want a particular fabric type, I want a particular texture, I want a particular sewing style. I can pick all that on the screen and I'll send the recommendation. And then in less than 2 minutes, I can use augmented reality to view what I'm trying to design, what it will look like. And once I'm okay with what I've seen, they can actually make the item for me, which is actually an interesting one. on-demand fashion system through the use of augmented reality and virtual reality. It's an interesting area where technology is disrupting the fashion industry as well. And also Internet of Things, health monitoring and real-time monitoring. With piezoelectricity. Piezoelectricity is a form of micro generation of electricity through wearables. So for example, there are shoes that you wear that as you walk in those shoes, especially maybe your jogging shoes or the shoes you use in the gym or the ones you use for your evening walk or the one you wear on the treadmill, as you are hitting the floor with that shoe, it's generating piezoelectricity. And you can actually harvest the electricity that is being stored in the sole of the shoe. For maybe you can use it to just charge your phone. You can use it to do as many things that you need micro electricity for. It saves you some energy as well. And also health monitoring. There are wearables that are fashion items that can also monitor your health, and you can download the data in real time. So these are some of the ways that technology is actually disrupting the fashion industry, and we love to see it because we know that there's more evolution happening and more things begin to come to this ecosystem, and technology will continue to even innovate this ecosystem. The different smart clothing product available in the market, this is just to confirm the slide I just explained. There's a product called ExoSkin. I've seen this before. It's a vest. And it's 27% elastane and 73% micro polyamide. And you can do data transfer from this vest with Bluetooth, right? And then it can do your step count. It can do a lot of sports people wear this. It can do your sleeping assessment, the number of calories you burnt. It can also do your blood pressure, your ECG, and your movement, right? These are ways, especially in the sporting fashion industry, they've been able to apply a lot of technologies to make their product better and to make their product relevant and valuable to the current century. There's Health Watch. It's also a vest. It's knitted, and it uses Wi-Fi. You can use a 3G and 4G network. This one also can detect your heart rates and then your respiratory rate and skin temperature. If you wear it, you can actually also download the data via a telco network, which is an interesting one as well. There's a Neopanda, which is a baby heart. It's wireless, and it can sense blood oxygen and saturation and temperature. It's for babies. Then there's BioSerenity, which is a cap and shirt. It's also knitted. It also uses wireless technology. And then it can also check your blood oxygen, and also is also sensing your body temperature. There's Mimo, which is also a baby wears baby kimonos, and it also uses Bluetooth. So you can download the data from Bluetooth to a lily pad, and it can give data on the respiratory system of the baby wearing it, skin temperature, and also body position. And some of these things are also, you are able to also access them wirelessly, even if you are not with the baby wearing it. Which means as a parent, if your baby is sleeping in another room and they are wearing this particular kimono as their night clothes, you can, if the baby temperature is going up, you can get the alert on your phone as you're sleeping in your own room, and you can quickly go intervene or go attend to the baby. So these are, a lot of innovation coming up in the fashion industry, and it's really interesting. And there's Siren, which is socks that you wear on your feet, is knitted as well. It also measures your body temperature and with Bluetooth technology. Very, very interesting products that is using a lot of technology and innovation to disrupt the way we see fashion and the way the industry works. So how can we leverage technology in fashion business in Africa, and why is this important? I usually say that the future is digital and we cannot afford to be late as a continent. There are many things where we have been fast followers There are many things where we have been laggards, but I think we also have a lot of areas where we have the opportunity to lead and to pioneer a lot of things in the fashion industry, right? And in terms of production chain, right? Technology can help us, disrupt our production chain. Physical things, sensors and tags, IoT edge, tag reader. If we have like a big industrial plant for example, for fashion items, not only limited to clothing, we can use a lot of sensors technology or sensing technology and tags for this, in terms of even to know the size or the fabrics or the specifications of how the fashion items should be handled. We can use technology for that. Our supply chains and logistics, like I said in 3 slides away, is very important. We can use this technology for traceability as well. For the business operation sides of things, we can also use technology for business operations and business strategy. I'll dwell a little bit more on this because, and I'll cite 2 examples that I've had with using technology for business operations in the fashion industry. There's a shop that I visited with my wife some time ago. She wanted to buy a dress. And immediately we decided on the dress we wanted to buy. The teller, when we wanted to pay at the desk, collected more data than just paying. And there were data we were comfortable dropping, right? They did a measurement of body size. They measured the waist, measured different part of the body, and they recorded the vitals on their computer. They also asked questions around, your preferred fabrics, the fabrics you're comfortable wearing, if it is cotton, if it is silk, what are the kind of clothes you like wearing for parties, the one you like wearing at home, what's your ideal pajamas, They ask all these questions until today. At least once in a month, my wife receives an email from that fashion brand, talking about new stocks that they have that befits our preference in clothing. And believe me, she has gone back there several times to patronize them. And so to us, they have become like a trusted brand because they always communicate. They personalize their conversations and communication due from the data they've collected. So when people pass through your business, don't just be conscious about the money you want to collect for them and for them to go away. You must think about retainership. And how do you think of retainership? You must limit your desire to just collect payment and let them go. You must think about how do you ensure that they come back to you. And this is where you can use technology for your business operations. People want to feel good. They want to feel that the communication you are giving to them is personalized to them. We are humans. We want a little bit of respect. We want a little bit of honor, right? So it's very important that we use technology as much as possible to disrupt our business operations in order for us to be able to have retainership communications with the people visiting our businesses going forward. And also, many of us we do our businesses without recording and making use of data. We do our businesses just on cruise. It's like an autopilot. We are not collecting any data. We are not analyzing any data. We are not visualizing any data, and we are not using data to make more business decisions. When you collect data, it helps you to know the needs of your customers, the kind of customers who have passed through your business, the things they've purchased, the amount of money they paid, their purchasing power, sometimes what they do, right? What they do for profession. It will be interesting for you to see that when you start analyzing the data, you will discover that a particular profession, people in a particular profession or a particular pay grade are able to afford a particular item you are selling compared to some other people. And this helps you, right, to serve your customers better. Sometimes the new product you want to start will come from the data that you have been collecting, right? You don't just introduce a new product just like that because you like the product. No, if you want to be competitive and you want to start a new product line, you must be able to continue to collect data, analyze the data, and visualize the data for you to make your decision. Maybe there is a particular fashion item in your product, in your line, that you should discontinue because it's not making the type of overhead that you want to make. It's not bringing the ROI. And there's something else you must focus on. Data will help you make that decision. And this is why the use of technology is very important in your business operations. I dwelled a little bit more on this because it's very important. This alone can make you win in the market. This alone can make you a respectable brand in the market. This alone can make you, a big fashion brand that is respected, in the ecosystem, because you are making use of something everybody is not making you. And what is that? It's data. We usually talk about data as if it's just something we collect every day, but the accumulation of all the data you are collecting, by the time you are able to make sense of the data, it helps you to make good business decisions. It helps you to know your customer segmentations. It also helps you to be able to introduce new products. It also helps you make financial decisions, or maybe there's something you should discontinue, or maybe something you should double down on. So it's very important. And I hope this slide is very, very clear to us. All right. Now, I'll go through slowly and practically the tools for you to understand your customers as a business. So putting yourself in your customer's shoes, very important. If you are not able to put yourself in your customer's shoes as an entrepreneur, you have not started the journey at all, because once you put yourself in their shoes, you are able to understand where the shoe is pinching them. That is metaphorically. You're also able to understand their needs. You're able to understand the point where you need to meet them with your innovation and your product. So the first one that I'm going to explain to us is called the business model canvas. The business model canvas. Many of us must have come through this in our entrepreneurial journey, or in some trainings, or in some workshops. This alone can actually help you flesh out the blueprint of your business and how it's going to serve the people you are supposed to be serving, right? So the business model canvas is like a overarching blueprint, and it's also granular. It addresses a lot of things, from the key activities, the resources, cost structure, your key partners, the value propositions. We should not do business because everybody's doing it. We should do it because we have a unique value that we are adding to the market. And we must be able to articulate that as entrepreneurs. Every business must be able to articulate the value. There are 1 million fashion brands, but your own fashion brand, what is the value that it's adding to your customers? What is the value that it's adding to the world, basically? When you buy a new pair of Nike shoes, on the box, they will write their manifesto on saving the planet there. That might sound cliche, but it's consistent. When you buy a new pair of Nike shoes, that's what I mean by your value proposition. What is the statement you are making with your own brand? Yes, there are many fashion brands where you are doing your business. There are many people doing the same thing that you're doing, right? But what is your own unique value proposition, right? It's very important. And the business model canvas helps you to articulate all that. And I will show an example of one that has been filled on the screen here. So this person now, this is a brand called, this is a brand, and the person here says, in terms of partners, right? Cosmetic brands. If you want to have a showroom, for example, let's use a practical example of, you have a showroom for clothing, and shoes and jewelries, and maybe some culturally conscious products that you have produced, and you have a big showroom where people come into to check what you're selling, and they can also, you have a dressing room and they can also buy. Definitely, you would need key partners to work with, key partners. And this person said, this one on the screen is showing cosmetic brands, makeup influencers, and dispatchers. So this is a cosmetic brand, and your partners, if you are running like a multi-channel cosmetic brand, you also need makeup influencers, and this is very important these days, because sometimes an example of a fashion brand in Nigeria that made a particular agbada for a Nigerian celebrity. Agbada is this flowing dress worn by men in Nigeria, in Senegal, in some part in Gambia, in Ghana as well. And I see a lot of that in Northern Africa as well. I saw a lot of it when I went to Mauritania as well. So it's a flowing cloth for men. And this fashion entrepreneur made one for a Nigerian celebrity. And the Nigerian celebrity wore the clothes in one of the biggest live shows that was happening in the country. And in terms of even online followership, people, I can remember, I think the entrepreneur was on 20,000 followers on Instagram when he made that clothes for the influencer. And after the influencer wore the clothes and it went viral, it moved to like, I think 800,000 followers in less than 3 weeks, because the statement of that cloth was really amazing. And it's gathered a lot of comments and a lot of attractions online. And that is the power of influencers. And you must be able to identify the ones that can actually add a lot of value to your business. Very, very important. Number two is your cost structure. You must be able to understand your marketing budget. You must be able to understand the amount of money you are going to be investing into your technology or into your raw materials. How much are you going to be paying your employees? Right? This helps you plan very well. So that you don't just burn your budget on things that are unnecessary. Your revenue streams, are you going to be a retail value chain, or you're going to be doing direct sales, right? Your value proposition, high quality and affordable beauty and luxury products. That's the value proposition. High quality and affordable beauty and luxury products. If you are in the luxury fashion brand, your value proposition must speak to the class of people that have the money to buy from you. If you are making fashion items for children, your value proposition must be very clear. And we must see from the catchphrase of your brand that you are building for children. If you are building for Generation Z, right? And this is why you must understand your customer. If you're building for Generation Z, there are the type of fashion brands that Generation Z really loves. They love trendy, they love Vogue, they love, sometimes something that makes a little bit of crazy statement. If you are building for them, you must be able to speak to that niche market. And this is what I mean by your value proposition, your unique value proposition. Very, very important. If you are building for the corporates, maybe the way bankers dress, the way people in insurance dress, the way people in consulting dress. If you are making a suit brand, you must be able to communicate that you are building for professionals like this. It helps you to articulate and target your market correctly. It is very important. What are the key activities? Are you going to be doing in-store product sales or online sales? I can see a lot of fashion entrepreneurs in Africa using Instagram as a sales channel, and they are reaching their customers, especially when you are just starting out and you don't want to spend a lot of money on a physical property or a shop. Online channels is really helping people these days to, in fact, make a lot of sales to the point where they are able to make a lot of money to now start rent a physical space. What are the key resources? Store employees, brands, technology developers. Do you want to build your own website where you want to sell your things? Do you want to create an online store on a third-party app? You know, these are things that you need to visualize on your business model canvas. Your customer relationship. What are your customer services? The things you want to do for your customers. I can't remember the item I bought from a particular, I think it's a wristwatch. I bought a wristwatch in 2016 in a shop in Seoul, South Korea. And up till today, they sent me birthday message. Up to today, I just entered the store, bought a wristwatch. This was 2016 in faraway South Korea. And they still send me birthday messages till now. They still send me communications on, you know, some of the new things that they are doing. They send me the new innovation they are adding to the way they look at wristwatches and everything. And it's not impossible that if I visit South Korea anytime soon, I want to buy a wristwatch, I will go there, I will readily remember that there's this brand that I used to visit. That's what retainership means. That's what, you know, understanding your customers and having a customer service that works. That's what it means. Mobile relations, your social media. Will you use storytelling? Will you use official content? All these things, you need to be able to articulate them. And the business model canvas helps you to do that, right? Very important. And I hope this is really clear to us. You can be putting down your questions. I'm willing to answer them during the Q&A session. The second tool I want to show you is the empathy map. And from the word empathy, empathy is different from sympathy because in sympathy, you are not putting yourself in the shoes of that person, and you cannot feel their pains. But in empathy, you are actually putting yourself in their shoes, feeling their pains, feeling what they are feeling, hearing what they are saying, and thinking what they are thinking. This is the beauty of empathy map, right? So an empathy map is a collaborative visualization used to articulate what we know about a particular type of customer. It also externalizes knowledge about understanding of customer needs and also aids you in making your decision. So if you have your fashion brand, your business, as the case may be, you, from time to time, you must always create an empathy map consciously of what your customers actually do with your product, what they see in your product, what they think about your product, and what they feel about your product. And you don't need to even make this type of data collection so, you know, you don't need to make it so obvious. That's the word I wanted to use. You don't need to make it so obvious when you are collecting data on what your customers see in your product, what they think, what they feel, and what they do with your product, right? So when people patronize you, you can just engage them in a, you know, small conversation, or people that have come, they've gone, but you still have channels of reaching out to them. You can do a lot of feedback session to know, you know, what fabrics, what fashion item do I like wearing on weekends? Recently, I even saw a brand that their value proposition is they make comfortable clothing for women during their period. And it was really fascinating. Like, that's all they specialize in. We make comfortable clothing for women during their period. It's amazing. That's a niche. That's a niche. And it's very important that as fashion entrepreneurs, we have a niche that we are focusing on, right? So what your customers see, what they think, what they feel, and what they do should be of utmost importance to you, and you must be interested in having this you know, kind of data. It will help you make a decision. Maybe the feedback sometimes from what you've sold to them, of what they've gotten from your brand, is that they are excited about your brand or about a product they've gotten from you, or your brand makes them overwhelmed. They are not able to make a decision on what to buy from you immediately or quickly. That's a good feedback. Maybe what they think is, I don't like this, or I want something great, or maybe I should do more research before I can make decision to buy from you. Maybe what they do with your product is that they compare your product with other products. Maybe they rely on friends for advice before they patronize brands. You want to know what they do. Maybe they are always searching for a better brand. Maybe the customer segment you appeal to, they are always looking for something. They will patronize you, yes, but they will also look for new things. As new things are coming out, they want to look for new things, and they have the high likelihood to drop your own products for another product in the next 1 month. You need to know all these things so that it helps you make your decision to make your business tight and propose something that your customers can always continue to enjoy, right? Very, very important. The third one I want to show you is customer examples for customer empathy map for buying clothes. This is a practical example. The pains of these customers is that they do not have a lot of time to go shopping. They don't usually find their size. If they don't buy, if there's no discount or sales promotion. That's the pain of this customer, some of these customers. That gives you a lot of insight as a business person in the fashion industry. Gains, they've told you that online shopping is convenient and saves time. So that's a strength. Like, I don't have time. So if I don't have time, online shopping might make sense for me, and I love it to be delivered to me without me going out and walking around your store. Sales offers some good deals. So if you have some, good deals, I'll buy 10, right? Fast delivery, that's a strength. What they do, shops once in a month in store and every other week online, right? So this is what they do. They shop once a month in the stores and every other week online. If you have this data, this information, it helps you to have a physical store and also have online, which means the customers coming to buy physically once a month, when they want to buy online as well, if you are very tight online, they still come to your online store. It's very important we have this data. Thinking, what do they think? Sales and discounts are most important. We are humans. We love to see sales, 70% off, 50% off. And the truth is that there are smarter ways to design these things. It's consumer psychology. That's the conversation for another. It's consumer psychology. Something that you are saying 70% off, the fact that they saw 70% off will still make them come and buy, but that doesn't mean that you've not even made a profit, right? So it's consumer psychology, and it's rooted in people's preferences and the way human brains look at opportunities. And you must be able to understand all these things for you to run a successful business. Another thing they think, never pay full price because it is not worth the retail, right? This is also very, very important, right? So as I round up this particular example, I can see comment on slowing down. Apologies for that. The empathy map helps you to check what your customers are doing, what they are thinking, what they are, feeling, and what their pain points are. And this helps you, gives you a lot of data, right, to make your business decisions. It helps you to connect with your customers better. It also helps you to, make decisions on launching new product that serves your customers better. So these are also an example of customer empathy map for buying clothes. Insights, many shoppers are attracted by sales. Some shoppers pay attention to if clothing sections are organized or not. This is a good feedback. You enter some stores and it's so cumbersome. It's chaotic. Things are not classified the way they are supposed to be. And customers can give you feedback on this, that when they come to your store, they are just overwhelmed. They don't know where to go to. They don't know where something is because everywhere is just jam-packed. Many shoppers pay attention to if their size is available or not. If a customer has patronized you 5 times without finding their size, they would most likely go away and they will never patronize you again, right? So, and this brings us back to you articulating who you are targeting, right? Don't say you are an open brand, we serve everybody, when some people that are supposed to actually pay you and be your good customers can't find what they need. It's better to say we are a men clothing brand or we're a men fashion brand. It's better to say we're a women's fashion brand or clothing brand. It's better to say we are a professionals clothing brand. Or it's better to say we only make clothes for parties, or we are a bridal clothing brand. It's good to articulate that so that the number of frustrations you are creating for people will not build up at all because you've been clear on the focus of your brand, basically, right? Needs to know if they find the best price for what they bought. You want to know that when people come to patronize you. You want to know if they find, if the price you give them was the best for them, or if your price is competitive. To know if they will have if they had a comfortable shopping experience, you need this information. It is very important. To know stores have their size. This is coming up over and over again, and it's a problem with most fashion brands because of sizes. And it's good to communicate and be clear from the get-go. The people you are targeting, your primary constituency when it comes to your customers, very, very important. And I hope this is very clear to us as well. The next one is your user persona and customer user profile. And I'll break this down for you to understand it practically. As a brand, many across different age groups, people across different age groups may patronize you. So there will be retirees, their needs are different. People actively working, their needs are different. People that love to go to parties, their needs will be different when they come to you. People that goes to club, their needs will be different when they come to you. People that need, traditional cultural clothing, their needs are different across different walks of life. Bankers, people that works in entertainment, people that works in, factories, schools, their needs will be different. Across different education. Many people they've not noticed that level of education sometimes has a great influence on people's needs and their desires. Their occupations are different, and people with different occupations will have different needs, right? Goals and needs. Maybe my own goal is that I want a kind of clothing that anywhere I enter, I want to command the attention in the place. I want everybody to turn from whatever they are doing and look at me. If that's my need, that's my goal. Another person will come to you that I want a very subtle looking, low color jacket, and I don't want people to see the quality until they move close to me, right? That's somebody's need, right? Somebody will say, I need a shoe that is, that I can use for both rugged work and luxury outing at the same time. The need is different. Behaviors and activities. If you are a shoe brand, for example, factory workers' needs are different, right? People who are public speakers, who appear on stage all the time, need something shiny and solid. It's different. There are people who love boots, it's different. So their needs are different. There are, in terms of location, people that live in very rough areas will most likely look for rugged shoes than those who don't live in rough areas, right? What of attitude, right? And then there are frustrations and pain points. This is where user persona is very important. This is also called customer profiling, right? So you must be able to do profiling for all classifications of customers that comes to you. when we talk about social status, their earning power or their spending power is a very important data that you can use for your profiling. If you know that if on average, I have 500 customers a year, 50 out of those customers a year, each of them earn $150,000 a year. And their spending pattern is different from those who earn $60,000 a year. And it's different from those who are self-employed. A lot of this data will help you. And this is what creates competitive advantage for businesses. If you don't pay attention to all these things, many of us, we focus so much on our products that we forget these things I'm talking about. You just focus on making products without actually understanding how even that one product you are making can have a dovetailing effect that gives you more income than making 100 products. As a matter of fact, you can have 3 products that will give you more ROI than having 100 products. If you understand this thing I'm talking about, customer profiling, age groups. One thing that fashion brands should be doing these days is to understand that what Generation Z, the Gen Zs, what they want to wear is different from what the millennials want to wear. It's different from what the Generation X want to wear. And it's different from what the baby boomers want to wear. And you have all these classifications of people as your customers. And you are not paying attention to serving them, in a very strong way. And you can just have 5 products that speak strongly to these 6 classifications, and you generate more income than having 25 products that nobody needs. It's very important. So when you understand, this can even speak to how you design, how you market, how you do your sales, the communication, your branding. All this customer profiling will help you do that. Baby boomers, people in their mid-60s and 70s, they are not looking for sharp-edged clothes anymore. They just want to wear something that is comfortable. They just want to be comfortable while trendy and fashionable at the same time. You can meet them at the point of their desire. Gen Zs, many of them want to wear business casual. They want their jeans ripped. They want their they want Ankara mixed with silk and some vintage looking shirts. You can blend all of these things because you understand them. They want something more colorful. This helps you to do that. So user persona is very important. It helps you to actually design better, engage with your customers better, and it also helps you to maximize your ROI because you understand your customers. The second to the last one I want to show us is problem statement canvas. I will not dwell so much on this, but it helps you to understand the context of your idea, the problem you are solving. Are you solving problem for new mothers who are looking for clothing for babies? Are you solving problem for professionals who are supposed to wear suits every day? Are you designing for them? Who are the customers? Who has the problem most often out of all your customers? Maybe people that maybe at a particular age, they wear clothes, their clothes does not fit them over at the end of 3 or 4 months. How are you thinking about fabrics and how to maintain good fabrics while people even grow? What is the emotional impact? How does your customer feel about providing solution about that problem, and how would they connect to the solution you are bringing to that problem? What are the alternative things that the customers can go to if you don't give them the solution? So some of these things comes on your problem statement canvas. In fact, this is the first thing you need to be able to use when at your ideation stage, articulating the context of the problem you're actually solving, the customers that are going to you are solving for, what is the emotional impact of that problem on them, and how can you meet them at the point of that emotion? How do you measure the impact of what you're giving to them? And if you don't eventually build that solution, who are the alternative people that will give them that solution? Maybe that can give you some motivation to build the product. Then your customer journey map. It is a very simple idea, and it's a diagram, and it can take any form or shape. So in terms of awareness, you need to consider how your customers will be aware of what you do, of your products and the services you're offering. The consideration, you need to consider how to connect with them and also how they can connect with you. Then acquisition, how do you acquire the users and the customers of whatever product you are pushing out? You must think about acquisition and also retaining them. Services, what do you bring to the table to them? The quality, the branding, the originality, the authenticity of what you are bringing to them, the quality of the service. Also, the customer service comes in here. How do you ensure that you are conscious of the quality of service that you are giving to them? Very important. And then loyalty. Your brand will continue to have a lot of success if you have loyal customers. And brands like Apple, for example, they've asked this. There's brand loyalty, for people that use Apple, because of, it just makes it, when you see people that use Apple and they've used it for a while, you just see a lot of loyalty from the way they talk. A lot of loyalty, even if they make something that is not up to par with another brand, you see the loyalty. It's the way the brand has been able to push themselves over time, and now they've been able to engage with their customers, right? So when you now break all this down, you'll be able to say, for consideration, will you use online ads? Will you use blog posts? Will you use newsletters? Will you use social media to connect with your customers? And then we use landing page of a website or an e-commerce website. Will you use an app for them to discover you and what you do? Will you set up an electronic shop for them to discover you? Will you create a sign-up page for them to, do you know that in the fashion industry now, especially the way they do for Emmy's bag, where you need to book even 2 years before you get the bag? That's a luxury branding, and it works. You can't just walk into a shop and say you want to buy an Emmy's bag. You need to pre-order, right? So they use sign-up pages, product page. Are you going to set it up? Then in terms of acquisition of customers, how do you engage them? How do you interact with them? The user experience. Many of you have websites that when we get on it, we don't even know whether you are selling or you are a charity, because the user experience and the user interface is so clustered together. There's no clear communication. There's no call to action. Everything is just modeled up. And it's very important to understand clear communication so that your customers can have a good user experience when they come to your platform. In terms of services, will you always send emails to check up on your customers? Will you have a chat option where you can chat with your customers, or you want to have a super app that brings all these things under one platform, where all things, people that want to use email, you can connect with them. People that prefers chat, you can connect with them as well. In terms of loyalty, reviews, articles, competitor content, social media. Are you going to be sending December vouchers, Christmas gifts, celebration time, popular holidays? What are you doing for your customer? Very important. And this is what customer journey mapping shows. Now I'll speak to the deeper the data, the better. So for the demographics of customers that you serve, you must have more data, and I'm just using this to reiterate. Make sure you have data on the demographics of your customers, their gender, their age, their place of residence, not necessarily in terms of exactly where they live, but the area they live can actually determine how they engage with you. Marital status. I read a research recently on the consumerism status of people that are married. Maybe they buy more clothes. When they have kids, they buy more, right? Financial status as well, very important. Number two is relationship with the product. You must have data on whether they have knowledge of the product, previous knowledge about the product or not before they come to buy from you. In what context do they use your product? Do they wear whatever they buy from you? Where do they wear it to? What are the statements they are trying to make with the fashion items they get from you? Then what are their motivations? Very important. Then their personalities. What are their hobbies? Somebody that likes to play golf will most likely buy more short sneakers and sports clothes and face caps, right? Favorite brands. You want to understand, do they follow trends? If they follow trends, which means you must also follow the trend. I can see that the trend these days is oversized trousers. I see that a lot these days. I don't know if I'm correct or wrong, but I see a lot of people going back to the old baggy trousers that that James Brown used to wear, right? And I also think that the fashion industry actually follows trend. It's just it's a situation of what goes around comes around. There was a time women stopped wearing pencil mouth shoes, but a season came, they came back to it, right? So what goes around comes around, and it's really interesting. So we must be able to understand trends and how the market is evolving. So the twists and turns of customer engagement, data, like I said, human needs change, and you must also understand the changes and evolve with the changes. And it does not take 1 minute for customers to change their mind, which means you must be on your watch and do not assume anything. This is still reiterating some of the things I've said earlier. You must customize whatever you're doing for the customers, your customer engagement, location data provider. You must, if you are able to adopt a business management software that manages everything for you, from payments to receipts to invoicing, it really makes sense. It helps you, gather your data and use the data in a way that makes sense for business decision making very well. So these are the thoughts I wanted to share with you. Thank you for listening, and I saw a lot of engagement as I was speaking as well. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Oluwaseun. Very insightful session, I must confess. We have a couple of questions, but because of our time, we won't be able to take a lot of them. So if you have questions and your questions will not be answered in this session, I want to implore you to kindly ensure that you send your questions to Fashionomics Help Desk at cchub.africa. We'll be more than happy to respond to you. Please note, these additional case studies and resources will be sent to you by tomorrow. So let's start with the question. We have a question from Tabiso Montse. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name correctly. It was just a very long episode, but let me just take this question. Can we think of a traditional way to produce materials that are not harmful to nature and are sustainable? Can we think of a traditional way to produce materials that are not harmful to nature and are sustainable?
I think I'm not a fashion expert. I may not have a ready answer to that, but I know that from the way a lot of international fashion brands have been conscious of saving the planet, and you see Nike was one of the first brands that adopted that. They'll say for every Nike bought, $1 goes into repairing the environment. That's one way that people have been looking at that. But also, we need to tap back into indigenous knowledge. I'm very passionate about indigenous knowledge. I've seen how indigenous knowledge has actually continued to revolutionize agriculture in Africa, especially in irrigation. Our ancestors, even though they were laid in the grave, but I believe they were buried in our genes. We still have their genes, and we can still do the things they did to make the planet a better place in the past. So we need to tap back into indigenous knowledge. If we do more indigenous knowledge research, we'll see that there are many ways we can use natural traditional things to make our fabrics and still make the environment safe. And also every fashion brand should have the narrative of planting trees, should have narratives of corporate social responsibility around making the environment safe as well. It helps you stay conscious of that, and it makes your brand attractive to people who are very conscious of the environment.
Thank you very much, Oluwaseun. We have another question from Olayemi Do. She says that how can you recommend an app or software we can leverage for our fashion businesses?
Yeah, many things, many apps you can leverage. It depends on what you're looking for. For business management, there are many business management softwares out there. No name is readily coming into my mind, but there are also invoicing platforms. Many people are not able to engage corporate in their businesses because they don't even have a standard way of making invoices or sending receipts, right? But I think in the resources we'll send to people, remind me, we can actually add that to some of the things they can look into. But there are myriads of business management softwares that does from you receiving payment to tracking who has not paid you, to sending prompts to those who are owing you, to sending reminders, and to also declaring your tax. A lot of apps right there.
Thank you very much, Oluwaseun. So we have another question from Bulembekosi. How does one keep up to date with technology and design and run a business at the same time? Does it mean I have to take up an IT course or something, because some of the terms used in tech space are new?
Yeah, good question. I'm a technology optimist, and I usually say that technology does not take our jobs away. It only changes our roles, right? And the future of digital is that everybody, doctors must become digital, fashion entrepreneurs must become digital. Whether we like it or not, if you are not digital in your business these days, you can be pushed out of business. That's the truth. And people are using technology to gain unfair advantage over others, right? So we must come down to learn, definitely. And learning digital skills does not take you away from your business. It's something you can just do on weekends. Maybe today you are learning how to use Excel spreadsheets to input your stocks. You can learn that and make YouTube your friend a lot. A lot of people are learned digital experts today because they learned it on their own. So learn it at your pace, make YouTube if you want to learn something, or you are thinking of how to disrupt something in your business, just go to YouTube. A lot of resources there, and they will show you with video how you can do it. Even if you're learning how to do inputs for your stock, when you're doing stock counting in the morning, there are videos on YouTube that can show you how to do that, even with your phone. Right, so don't fall for the pressure of the words used in tech is hard. No, everybody must be able to learn the technology and if you are not able to do it, find workers who can help you do that. You have cousins who are tech savvy. Let them do some things for you if you think you don't have the capacity to take in some of those new knowledge. There are many people willing to do it for a fee, and they will do it well. Or even volunteers that will do it for you.
Thank you very much, Oluwaseun. The person who asked the previous question you answered, Tabiso Monse, says, thank you, Oluwaseun. I'm all about for IKS. Maybe we can talk about that moving forward. I'd like to connect with you actually. So Tabiso has requested to connect with you. So probably you can drop your social media handle or your LinkedIn page for them to reach out to you if they have any questions. Thank you very much. Sure. I'm trying to see if we'll have any other question in the chat box, but I don't seem to find any as of now. Please, if you have any questions to ask, we can take just one more. Please kindly indicate in the chat box, and we're more than happy to respond to you. Oluwaseun is more than happy to take in your questions. Okay, there's a question from Emmanuel Atokora Manus. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name accurately. There is vast business management software in the market. Kindly recommend any app made in Africa business management or accounting software you can use to track all actions. I guess Oluwaseun won't address that the other time, but I don't know if you have further points to share on this.
No, I think those are good questions. As many of those questions, I can curate some resources that we can send. I'll do that. But I think Emmanuel is also making a recommendation. He was mentioning that it's an Amazon software that they use for buyers for shoes online. People can check that out as well.
All right, thank you very much. And the availability of no further questions, but if you still have any questions that you'd like to ask, please do well to send your questions to Fashionomics Help Desk at cchub.africa, and we'll respond to you as soon as we can. Thank you very much, Oluwaseun. It was such an amazing and insightful session. I can see that the chat box, oh, Kasham, I've been asking questions. Please share your question again. I didn't see it. Kasham Shaggy, please share your question again. I will just grant you the privilege to ask your question before we call it a day. We have 6 more minutes to go. Please, Kasham, share your question. Kasham, we're waiting. Please share your question. Okay, so while we await Kasham's question, please note that you will be onboarded on a Moodle platform that was mentioned earlier, and you will be granted login access to access previous recordings of previous sessions. So please note that you will be able to access recording of previous sessions on the Moodle platform. That will be very helpful for your learning process. We'll share login details before the end of this week, so please note that. Please, if you are not yet on the WhatsApp group, please kindly indicate in the chat box so that we can attend to you specifically. If you are not on the WhatsApp group, please kindly indicate in the chat box so that we can share with you the link and you'll be able to access the WhatsApp group. Okay, Kasham Shaggy, I thought I addressed this in the chat session, but let me read it out to Oluwaseun. Please, can we use BMC format for a pitch deck?
Yes, you can. In fact, if you're pitching to investors, for example, they want to see that. It's very important. All the tools that we went through, you can use it for a pitch deck. It captures the essence of your business, basically, from A to Z, right? Yeah, you can use it, basically.
Thank you very much, Oluwaseun. So in the chat box right now, we have the link to join the WhatsApp group. So if you're not on the WhatsApp group, please kindly click on the link to join the WhatsApp group, and then you'll be added to the WhatsApp group there, and then you get basic information and communication regarding this program. Once again, Oluwaseun, thank you very much for availing us your time and your wealth of knowledge to facilitate the session. I'm sure that it was quite helpful to the participants, and so participants will catch up in the WhatsApp session whereby you share your take up for today and your key lessons. Oh, Buka. Okay, we have 4 more minutes, so let me take Buka. Buka, I think he has a question for you. How can we help? Whether if we stay, oh, sorry, I really can't get your question, Buka. I would appreciate if you can reframe properly. I will appreciate if you can reframe properly. Okay, sorry about the WhatsApp link that was shared. I guess it probably expired. We'll share another one shortly for you to access. My colleague Wanjiku will share a link to join the WhatsApp group for you so that you can join and participate in every activity that goes on in the WhatsApp group. So for this week, we will not be having sessions again. Our sessions continue next week, Tuesday, and next week, Thursday. So please ensure that you attend every session and you make yourself available. Lastly, before we call it a day, I also want to emphasize that if you join the session with your company's name as your name, you will be marked absent. Please note this. Please kindly rename your device. Rename your device to the name that you've registered with. It is very, very important that you rename your device with the name you registered with, so that when we are computing your attendance, we can mark you present. But if you do otherwise, I'm afraid that you'll be marked absent. Thank you. My colleague Wanjiku has shared the link to join the WhatsApp group. Please kindly join the WhatsApp group with that link. Please, I'm going to emphasize it again for the up-10 time. When you are joining this Zoom session, pardon me, please, ensure that you join with the correct name. Please note that if you do not join the session with the correct name, I am afraid that you'll be marked absent. That's one. Secondly, please also note that we are taking note of the number of minutes you spend on the session. So if you are one of those who like to join the session when it's 10 minutes to the closure, we note that. And I'm afraid you'll be marked absent if you join the session 10 minutes to closure. Please ensure that you do not you spend a minimum of 30 to 40 minutes on every session. And if you have to drop off at all, please send and channel your attendance inquiries or attendance queries to Fashionomics help desk at cchub.africa. It's very important that you do this. Please send all attendance queries to Fashionomics help desk at cchub.africa. Thank you, everyone. If you have any information to catch up with in the chat box, please do so. The WhatsApp link is already in the chat box. Please kindly join the WhatsApp group. And like I mentioned the other time, we would share login details for you to access the Moodle platform before the end of this week. My previous recordings of sessions will be uploaded for you to access for your learning benefit. Thank you very much, Oluwaseun, for today's amazing session. Thank you for the wealth of knowledge that you have passed across to us. Please, participants, kindly say thank you to Oluwaseun for the fantastic 1 hour, 30 minutes that he has shared his wealth of knowledge with us. So till again, we'll meet next week, Tuesday, same time, 2 p.m. West African time, 3 p.m. Central African time, 4 p.m. East African time. Please take note of this, and we'll catch up next week, Tuesday. We will meet up in the WhatsApp group if you have any further questions or if you have anything you want to reach out for. Please do well to reach out to us on Fashionomics Help Desk at cchub.africa. Thank you very much. To have an amazing week. Bye for now.